Tonight, the superstars of Monday Night Raw, just like the instant classic rock and roll song by the late great Jerry Lee Lewis, they rattled our brains. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Oh my goodness, what a night tonight indeed. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of Ridiculously Raw. I am, of course, your host, the ridiculously over gentleman, Anthony Florio here. I've got my elite panel with me as always. We got good old MF Michael Fletcher back with us. Unfortunately, as you know, he had to miss Strictly Sports the other night because of Google Hangout issues. Thankfully, he's back up and running. Praise God, finally. Of course, I'm also joined, of course, by the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson. And my friends, what a night we had indeed. And I got to be honest. I got to be the man who tells it like it is, like I always do. After what I saw tonight, I'm gonna be quite frank with you guys. There's nothing left for me to say except this. I am proud to wear this T-shirt that shows my support for Monday Night Raw. Now, if only we can have MF get a SmackDown Live shirt, maybe in time for their next event in 2 weeks. But that's besides the point. I'm proud to wear that shirt tonight, folks, because
maybe Fletch can get it at that when SmackDown Live comes to Providence.
Exactly right, Bullock. That comes next month, but we'll get to that another day. But for right now, I got the Raw T-shirt as you just saw, and after what I saw tonight, after the efforts that the men and women put forth here tonight, I'm proud to wear it. Yeah, we had one match, but that's a cutout. We're not even going to dignify it. It was an impromptu thing, but nonetheless, what a night here tonight on Monday Night Raw. I mean, as part of this Monday Night Raw exclusive pay-per-view, the first ever Great Balls of Fire event, live from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, exclusively on the WWE Network and on pay-per-view. Well, some traditional pay-per-view outlets. I know there's the decree that we only cover kickoff show matches for the major shows, like the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I think we should have a new decree here. The only way we cover a kickoff show match on a B show is only if it's a championship bout. And I think that I'm going to waive the no kickoff match talk about rule for this one time, because our kickoff show tonight, this kickoff show match here, was a championship match. The Cruiserweight Championship was on the line. It was Adrian Neville defending the title against Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa, of course, had Titus O'Neil in his corner, the whole Titus Worldwide nonsense. Winner of the match in approximately 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and still the WWE Cruiserweight Champion and the King of the Cruiserweights, Adrian Neville. 2.5 stars. I got to be honest. This was a 2.5-star match, teetering on 3. It was a good match with Tozawa protected by the low blow style finish. I assume this is going to be the first of several matches between these two. The involvement of Titus still does more harm than good for this feud, honestly, and for the Cruiserweight division. Titus O'Neil, as we all know, is a comedic undercard act, suddenly playing a big part in the top feud of the struggling division. And that honestly sends the wrong message. That's the only, constructive criticism I have for that. But other than that, this was a really good match. This was a very good match. 2.5, teetering on 3. And it's not often we gush over kickoff show fights, but I think this is one time we need to make an exception. So I think this is definitely far from over. They had a backstage moment where Tozawa went to Titus and said, "Get me a rematch." When could that rematch be? Could it be on a future Raw? Could it be on a future episode of 205 Live? Or could it even be at SummerSlam? Who knows? But for right now, Adrian Neville remains the king of the cruiserweights. And I know, as I bring in good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in, MF. Great to have you back after the little snafu the other night. But Adrian Neville, of course, we all know, nobody's a bigger fan of him more than you are, and I'm sure you're more than delighted that he's still the king of the cruiserweights.
Well, I'm very delighted that he is still the king of the cruiserweights, no doubt about it. And I'm going to say this, my work commitments have been very bad lately. As many of you guys know, it's knocked me out on majority of the card and whatnot. Well, fortunately, because of certain situations, I was able to see this via a friend of mine who had the WWE network. And before my employers start saying there was something illegal, no, it wasn't. It was during my lunch period. So I'm free and clear on that. So when this fight happened, I was basically, watching the match, with a friend of mine, and we were watching, and we were very impressed. We were both very impressed with this. So yeah, 2.5 stars is the rating I would give. It was a quality match, no doubt about it. And can I say it? Maybe other than some other fights that we've seen on Smack on I'll say on Raw with the cruiserweights, this has to go down as maybe one of the top 5 fights since the cruiserweights have returned in the division. I mean, this was thoroughly entertaining. This was actually a really good match, and I got nothing bad to say. So with that said, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. What was your rating for the match, Fletch?
2.5.
All right. I'm gonna give this match a 2.5 star match. I mean, yeah, I thought this was a good match, and what I thought was a really good tone setter for tonight's Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people didn't like the way Neville won it when he had to go with the low blow, but hey, I guess when you're the king of the cruiserweights, you do whatever you want to retain the title. So yeah, if a rematch is going to go down, I think it's definitely going to go down on a future episode of Raw or 205 Live. Because who knows, maybe they could have something bigger for Neville for SummerSlam. I really don't know, but all in all, this was a good match. So 2.5 stars is my rating. So Florio, let's just move on.
Yes, indeed. And of course, Didi Woodson, of course, refrains from the cruiserweight matches. But nonetheless, yeah, definitely a good tone setter, like Michael Bullock said, no question about it. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the cruiserweights going forward, especially after that. So now we move on to the main card now. And we started off our first match of the night. It was the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, squaring off against the Architect and the Kingslayer, Seth Rollins. Winner of the match in approximately somewhere between 12 minutes and 3 seconds to 12 minutes and 10 seconds. What's this? Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt actually picks up the victory here. Sister Abigail. Whoa, color me surprised here. I mean, Bray Wyatt has been so tragically underbooked and underutilized. I mean, they wasted the title on him, which was a damn shame, but, that is what it is. But it's the most meaningful win he's had probably since, that infamous House of Horrors match with Randy Orton at Payback. So nice to see him get a win. So MF, Bray Wyatt, a rare win. I'm shocked.
No. Meaningful wins when he became the WWE champion after Elimination Chamber. That was a meaningful win. This right here is a meaningful win for him on all the right directions. On this one, color me surprised, man. If I had a say in this, I probably would have gone with Seth Rollins as well. I did not see this coming. This is a pleasant surprise. This is a great victory. Now, okay, the match was solid. I think it was more Rollins carried the fight more than anything else. I think we all can agree with that, ladies and gentlemen. So, according to a few people that I know based on the internet, because that's what I can rely on this home front, It was solid, and I'm getting a lot of between 2.5 to 2 3/4 to almost 3-star level is what I'm hearing. There's a couple of fights where maybe, but I'm gonna say this is between the 2.5 to 2 3/4 level. I think it was a great match, solid victory. Congratulations to Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds, with a defining moment victory. And this is the most meaningful victory in his Raw career, more than anything else. You know, ever since this superstar shakeup, nobody really knew what was going to happen. Well, we know now. Big, big, big win, to say the very least, for Bray Wyatt. 2.5 to 2 3/4. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 2.5 to 3 stars as my rating on the match. I mean, yeah. When we did this preview, we all had Seth Rollins winning the match, but no, I mean they actually pulled the trigger and actually went with Bray Wyatt to win it, and I think this is a momentous win for him. And yeah, I mean Seth Rollins did carry out most of the match, but yeah, I mean it's oops, sorry about that. That was just my dog. So yeah, but getting back to this, yeah, yeah, when it comes, yeah, I mean it's a meaningful win for Bray Wyatt. His first meaningful win since, of course, like Fletcher mentioned, when he won the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. So hopefully this win will lead to bigger and better things for him. But you know how WWE is. I mean they push him. I mean, like when he won the WWE title, we were thinking you're thinking they were going to give him a big time push, and then what happens? Well, they basically killed it for him. So, yeah. So there's really nothing more for me to say except 2.5 to 3 stars, and yeah. So, Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, come on in. Give us your thoughts on Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt.
Honestly, I wasn't surprised that Bray Wyatt won. If I would have been at on the pre-show, I probably would have had Wyatt actually winning this match because it wasn't a surprise that he pulled it off. For me, I'm giving it 3.25 stars, so not much more I'm going to say about it. So, Florio, I toss it to you.
I agree with Dee Woodson's rating. 3.25 stars is my rating for it as well. Good opener, yet not so good that it left me looking forward to seeing the feud continue as I suspect it will. It was another month of Wyatt going over the top in his promos. In this case, he talked so much about making Rollins burn that I was actually wondering if we would see a fireball at the Great Balls of Fire event. Instead, it was just a typical match, a solid match, and with a surprising outcome. I mean, especially, with Seth Rollins cracking the cover of the WWE 2K18 video game, which will be coming out in October. We all probably would have thought that Rollins was going to go over to continue that momentum. But yeah, nice to see Bray Wyatt actually win for a change, and I'll give MF that. I mean, it's his most meaningful win since he won the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber at the Elimination Chamber event, that SmackDown Live exclusive event back in February. So there you go. Color me surprised. So that's that. And now we're going to move on to our next match, the battle of the former tag team partners as part of the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team, Enzo Amore, Big Cass. Enzo cuts an amazing promo before the match. But even with that wonderful promo, it was far from enough, as Big Cass goes on to win the match with the big boot, 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Well, between 5 minutes and 25 seconds to 5 minutes and 28 seconds, it doesn't matter. Big Cass gets the win here. So, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you here. And of course, Big Cass went over. But if I'm going to be real honest, I think Enzo's promo was better than the match itself.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Enzo's promo was definitely way better than this match that we saw here. So yeah, yeah. Enzo Amore just got dominated. I'll even go as far as to say he got squashed by Big Cass, and I mean Big Cass showed that he's all business, and he basically it's almost like he was saying, sending a message saying, you know what, I never needed Big Cass, or I never needed Enzo Amore. I can definitely go at it on my own. And boy, he sent a strong message. Yeah, and basically, and when he went on the Raw talk that we just saw moments ago, and he basically was calling out all the haters out there who thought he could never get to the big top, and he basically was saying, "Oh, for those who stood up and clapped for me or who wanted to get on the Big Cass bandwagon, well, I'm gonna boot your ass off the bandwagon because you've hated on me since at the beginning, and you continue to hate me." So yeah, Big Cass has got a brand new attitude now. So yeah, so as far as the match goes, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say this was anywhere from no rating to a dud as far as I'm concerned. So, but a dominant performance by Big Cass. So, Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, as you can see in the picture, Callie actually watched this match, and Fletch asked for a rating on Facebook. And since she's a cat, we went by paws. So she gave it about half of a paw, I guess you can say. So, I'm not surprised Cass won. It was quite a bit of a squash match. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 1 star, or a no rating to 1 star, because it really just, there wasn't much there to rate because it was just mainly all Cass and not much Enzo. So not much more I'm going to say on it. So it's yours, Florio.
One of the few low points of this night, even though I was very proud of this event tonight. This was one of the. There was only 2 real low lights on this card. This was one of them. I was originally going to give this a 2-star rating, but after what Bullock and Didi just said, I'm going to have to revoke that rating. I probably will have to give it no rating to a dud. I'm probably leaning more towards Bullock. Very good promo from Enzo before the match. But in all honesty, Enzo's promo was far and away better than the match. Like I said, a very good promo from Enzo before the bout, and then we had an uneventful match. All 3 broadcast team members acted so confident that Big Cass would win the match that I actually wondered if they were going to give Enzo a possible fluky victory. They could always do that in a rematch on a future Raw, but I wonder if they're rushing through this to get to maybe a possible SummerSlam bout, a battle of the big men between Big Cass and the Big Show. That's a rumor I just came across. Possibly a Big Cass Big Show match at SummerSlam, battle of the big men. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, originally 2, but after what Bullock and Didi said, I'm going to agree with them, and I'm going to revoke that rating and give it between no rating to a dud. I would say second worst fight of the night. I would have called this the worst fight of the night if it wasn't for that, little impromptu nonsense, which we're not going to dignify, but I'll get into it though. So no rating to a dud. So MF, like I said, great promo from Enzo before the fight, but honestly, that promo from Enzo was far better than the bout.
Oh man, me and Bill McConnell, we talked about it. We actually witnessed it live, and yeah, I even said it. Even though I know a lot of people kind of dumps on Enzo for being a horrible wrestler, that he's not as good of a wrestler, that the one guy that was better in the tag team was Cass, granted, but Enzo was without a doubt the best talker. And again, he gave us a very passionate, fiery, emotional speech that really resonated not only with me, Bill McConnell's not a big Enzo Amore fan, but he respected him after what he saw tonight, and just the fact that we saw the little nuances going in. He got to do the whole shtick, and yes, it looks like Enzo has adopted the one word to describe you. I'm not gonna do the rest. I'm not doing the rest because he didn't win tonight, so we can't do it. But I was very impressed. I was very happy, very pleased with what I saw. So nothing more to say. Yes, it is a dud in my eyes. I got no arguments with that. So with that said, Anthony, let's just move on to the next thing.
Oh boy, we're gonna have some fun now. We go from one of the few lowlights of the night to perhaps the highlight of the night, if you really think about this. 30-minute Iron Man match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Champions Sheamus and Cesaro defending against the former champions and former champions themselves, the Hardys, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, or as we like to affectionately call them, Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, the Broken Hardys. All right, here's how it went down. 18 seconds into the match, Cesaro distracted Matt Hardy by entering the ring. Sheamus bro kicks Matt Hardy. 1, 2, 3, it's 1-0, Sheamus and Cesaro. And then about right around the 10-minute mark, a double team effort by Cesaro and Sheamus on Jeff Hardy. 1, 2, 3, it's 2-0, Sheamus and Cesaro. And then right around the 13-minute mark, twist of a poetry in motion and a Matt Hardy side effect, a twist of fate by Jeff. Sheamus and Cesaro's lead is cut to 2-1 after a 1, 2, 3. Around the 17-minute mark, Matt Hardy counted out of the ring, 3-1 for Sheamus and Cesaro. With about 7 minutes to go, right around the 23-minute mark, a unique pinning combination by Jeff Hardy, like a backslide type move into a beautiful pinning combination. That's a 1, 2, 3. Sheamus and Cesaro's lead cut to 3-2. And then at around the 27-minute mark, Matt Hardy, twist of fate on Sheamus off the top rope, gets the 1, 2, 3. We're even at 3 apiece. And then with about 25 seconds to go, Jeff Hardy hits a swanton bomb on Sheamus. However, Cesaro was the legal man, and Cesaro rolls up Jeff Hardy, 1, 2, 3. And ladies and gentlemen, after the 30 minutes was up, the winners of the match by a score of 4 falls to 3, and still your Raw Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro. Didi Woodson, lucky you. You get to lead off on what was arguably the fight of the night tonight.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It started off slowly, and about halfway through, it was feeling as if they didn't have enough to fill the full time. Thankfully, that turned around, and with the final fourth of the match being excellent overall, this was a good tag team match, but the beginning lacked holding it back from being great. Even though commentary tried their best to sell it as a classic, the finish kind of stretched was really great. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 to 4 1/4 stars, somewhere right in that area. It was a really good match, and you can definitely say, that this was the Broken Hardy, with the way that Matt got hurt in the match, having the gash right there at his eyebrow, and all the blood gushing. So tonight we had a pretty bloody show, I guess you could say, but this still ended up being a really, really fun match to watch. So Not much more I had to say about it, so I'll toss it to you, Florio.
Fight of the night, no question about it. 4 1/4 stars. I'm going the full 4 1/4 here. No need for the 3 3/4. This was flat out 4 1/4 stars. A really good match that was laid out nicely in terms of playing into the Iron Man rules. The early fall Sheamus and Cesaro score was clever. I'm normally not a fan of quick falls, but they set that one up nicely as a distraction. The first 10 minutes, yeah, they were slow paced, yet told the story of Sheamus and Cesaro being in no rush because of their early lead. It also set the stage for a really good final 10 minutes of the match, which of course had that feel of, you know how much we love it, that infamous feeling of that infamous Shakespearean drama that we love so much. I'm pleasantly surprised that they delivered a real finish rather than booking a draw, because I'm going to be real honest. As it was 3-3 with like minutes to go, I was starting to worry. I'm like, oh, don't tell me we're going to get another non-finish here. I mean, come on, not tonight, please. But they delivered a real finish rather than doing another draw. The tag team champions gained something with the win, yet the Hardys lost nothing in defeat. There is no joy in House Hardy. Unfortunately, there will be no green beans for anybody tonight. We're not going to get to do our green bean shtick, but, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, but nonetheless, though, fantastic effort here. And this was far and away the best match of their series. So solid 4 1/4 stars, straight up 4 1/4 stars. This was, to me, the fight of the night. So MF, whoa, what an Iron Man match. Unbelievable.
Great Iron Man match, no doubt about it. 4 1/4, I'll give you that. No doubts about that. If you're a member of House Hardy, oh man, are you bumming? 23 seconds away. You had the momentum. Everything was going your way. You came back from what undoubtedly looked like a pretty dire situation, and you had almost everything going in your direction, and it exploded on you at the last possible moment. I know Didi was in a diehard Hardy fan, is probably a little bit disappointed with that outcome. Sheamus and Cesaro, man, a defining win as tag team champions. I mean, you know, we've been very hostile. We've been very, you know, it is what it is about certain things or situations that has happened in many different wrestling organizations, whatever. But this was undoubtedly the biggest win of Cesaro and Sheamus's, basically their tenure as tag champions. And, you know, you need something to defy yourself, because a lot of times when you get a defining moment or something like this, where you have a great match and you propel yourself to victory in this instant, like what happened tonight, this could really make or break a tag team. And not only that, it also could put us into thinking about you as not only a great tag team champion, but even, I'll even go as far to say, it could even make us wonder, could you be worthy enough at the end of the year for our Wrestling Form Awards? Because right now, that win, they just put themselves in position to be called Tag Team of the Year, in my eyes. When you beat the Hardys in a Iron Man match, 30 minutes, and do it in the way that you have done it, the continuity, the resourcefulness, you know, everything that came out of that fight, that not only opens my eyes, it opens Anthony's, it opens Bullock's, it opened Didi Woods' eyes. And right now, other than them and maybe the Usos, right now it's neck and neck for Superstar Tag Team of the Year. At least on my corner, it's a neck and neck race right now. Even though the Hardys are right there too. Anybody who thinks the Hardys are not in the mix, they are in the mix. I mean, from all the tag team championships they won in all those independent promotions, to winning the Ring of Honor tag team titles, to winning the WWE Raw tag team championships at WrestleMania. No, I will certainly rest assured you folks, House Hardy will be represented at the end of the year award show for Wrestling Form. They will be there. Are they going to win it? Yeah, they took us a major step back tonight, more than anything else. So I hate to say it, but the green beans are stuffed in the refrigerator, and they're not coming out tonight. There is no green beans for everyone. No. Unfortunately, I hate to do this to the Hardys, but they just fade away and they just classify themselves as obsolete. And I'm hearing the no chants coming from a mile away. And it's not coming from Florio or Bullock, but from a lot of Hardy fans. I'm getting a lot of static on my end. So that's why. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving it the 4.25 stars as well. I mean, this match we knew this was going to be something special, and boy, howdy, it really lived up to the hype here. And yeah, and I think you have to consider right now Cesaro and Sheamus as one of the favorites to be the tag teams of the year. And I mean, and back when this was put together after their Best of 7 series, and I mean last year, I mean we criticized it, but eventually it's everything's worked out fine with them. So yeah, and the Hardys certainly found out the hard way tonight. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. You guys pretty much touched on everything. So 4.25 stars. So Florio, let's just move on.
And we move on to our next championship match here on Great Balls of Fire. This one for the Raw Women's Championship. Champion Alexa Bliss defending the title against Sasha Banks. Winner of the match between 11 minutes and 40 seconds to 11 minutes and 55 seconds via a countout. It was Sasha Banks. However, still the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. All right. Now, normally on our shows, whether it is Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk, when we get count-out finishes, we usually frown upon them. Usually. This is one of the rare times I'm actually going to be okay with it. And over the last several weeks, up until that gauntlet match a couple weeks or so ago, the Raw women were on a downward spiral. They were going downhill and not in a good way. Because they were having bad matches, equally bad segments. But ever since we had that gauntlet match a couple weeks ago, the Raw women have gotten back on track. And tonight, we're back on track as far as the women's division is concerned, even with this count-out finish. Sleeper fight of the night, honestly. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. With the count-out finish and the post-match brawl, it appears that the feud will continue. And I thought it was a very good match overall. Good aggression, a nice sense of urgency, and both women playing their roles extremely well. Best of all, it was just two women out there working to have a quality wrestling match without a forced gimmick, pressure of, quote-unquote, making history being needlessly and unnecessarily shoved down our throats. And you notice during this match, Alexa Bliss had a little arm issue. We saw that dislocated arm like we saw on that SmackDown Live when she went up against Becky Lynch. I think it was the final show of 2016, which was the greatest SmackDown Live show of all time. And we've seen Bliss do the double jointed arm bit once before on SmackDown Live when she sold Becky Lynch's Disarmer. I'm surprised they didn't save it for a match finish because it was quite the visual. And I'm okay with the finish. Like I said, But like I said, and that I assume they'll stretch this one out until SummerSlam, and Bliss taking the easy way out is logical. The easy, cheap way out, like MF and I used to do back in the day. Logical. That said, even though it wasn't a good night for live crowd-pleasing finishes thus far, with the heels winning the first 4 matches, including the kickoff show, and Bliss retaining here. And by the way, Bliss appeared, and Dee Whitson talked about, bloodiness. We saw Matt Hardy get busted open during the Iron Man tag match. Alexa Bliss was bloodied as well. She appeared to be bleeding from the nose or the mouth after taking that double knee press, which Banks appeared to overshoot. When they were fighting around the Raw announce table, the stage announce tables. So, man, but what a match though. We're getting back on track, folks. The Raw Women's Division, slowly but surely. Yeah, it's still a work in progress, but we're getting there. It's getting back up to the high quality it once was. So, even despite this count-out finish, my sleeper fight of the night, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. If I overscored it, I don't care. Just my opinion. So, MF, your former crown jewel of SmackDown Live, Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks, man, even I still think they tore the house down.
Oh no, they tore the house down. I'll give it about 3 to 3.25. I'll give you that. But as far as everything else goes, I just think it was a very good match, no doubt about it. I think it was a great finish. And yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be a little upset because you want to have a clear-cut finish, especially on a pay-per-view. But you get those type of finishes once in a rare while. And look, they needed to cement the story, and that is that, look, Alexa is a very vulnerable champion. She's finally met somebody who's met her match, who's worthy enough of the opportunity. And yes, I'm glad that WWE has finally realized it and stopped messing around and gave a legitimate contender like Sasha Banks the opportunity. Because I'm sorry, what Raw was doing was an absolute disservice to Alexa Bliss for a number of months. As much as I know a lot of people were talking about how Bayley was worthy enough and whatnot, and yes, okay, Bayley was at one time, but I think they really kind of stretched it out and overstayed its welcome. Now it's basically, you're looking at 2 legitimate threats, 2 power women, which is Alexa Bliss, the 5 feet of fury, and Sasha Banks, the boss. And they're really going at it. And I love the fact that you had the post-fight, the brawl, because it cements the reason why these 2 deserve the spotlight. And I'm going to say it right now, this will culminate in a brawl or a fight in the Barclays in Brooklyn, New York, at SummerSlam, the hottest night of the summer, because I think that's the only way this thing gets settled once and for all. Because, like you said, the storyline is not over. It definitely can't be over after tonight because of the finish. And because Sasha wins, she automatically gets a mandatory rematch. At the earliest, most convenient possible time, which basically will have to be decided by General Manager Kurt Angle. So we'll wait and see. But I liked what I saw. This was definitely solid. Slight overscore, but I'm not going to be too hard on it because I'm going to say it's a 3-star fight more than anything else. So Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3.25 stars as my rating for the fight. The women certainly got back on track here tonight. I mean, this was definitely a good match. Alexa Bliss selling that she had a broken arm. Like you said, it's not the first time she's done it. She did it like on on SmackDown Live when she was part of the SmackDown Live roster, and yeah, she pulled it out again tonight against Sasha Banks, and yeah, and I don't mind the count out finish as well. Usually we crap all over it, but this is one I'll definitely make an exception to, because this is probably going to extend the rivalry leading into SummerSlam. So yeah, when will they face up again for the title? Maybe on a future Raw. I mean, that's how I basically see it, because who knows what's going to be up for the Raw Women's title when SummerSlam comes along. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more for me to say except 3 to 3.25 stars. So Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. I guess you could say the women of Raw definitely were back on track tonight.
Yep, they were definitely back on track tonight. It was definitely, even though it was a pay-per-view match, it was definitely a story building type match, because now we're preparing for these two to take this to the next level, whatever level that's going to be. Seeing as, you know, we have a feud starting here with them, and not really surprised to see Alexa Bliss pull the double joint type thing. Of course, she's not the first superstar to do that, but she's not going to be the last to do that. So I'm going to agree with the 3.25 stars. I'm very good match. Kind of glad that Sasha didn't let Bliss walk away like she tried to do. But yeah, they're getting back on track. They're finally, getting back to the level that these ladies we know can be, and I look forward to seeing the next time they meet for the same title, just to see what's going to happen next. Are they going to leave it on Alexa, or is Sasha actually going to pull it off? And so not much more I had to say about it, so I toss it to Florio.
All right, and we move on to our next championship match. This one was for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Champion The Miz, along with his wife Maryse, and The Miz, Taraj, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel, going up against Dean Ambrose. Winner of the match in between 11 minutes to 11 minutes and 20 seconds, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. It is The Miz. Skull crushing finale after some distractions by The Miz, Taraj, and Maryse. So, and Matt, we start this one off here with you here. So, that happened.
Too much interference, too much negativity on this one. I'm sorry. I need to go Cerebral Viper, man. I know a lot of people's been very high on The Miz being the Intercontinental Champion since he got the belt back in the whole 90 yards. I don't know. They need to go a different direction. I'm sorry. I don't like it. 2 to 2.5 stars. I'll give it. It was a solid fight. They got ample time in this match. But other than that, I'm done. There's nothing more for me to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm only gonna give it 2.25 stars as far as I'm concerned. I mean, yeah, it was a good match for what it was, but too much interference, especially when you had the quote unquote Miz Taraj out there. Give me a freaking break with that BS nonsense. I mean, last thing you need is two ham and egger jabronis like Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas basically getting involved in this match. I mean, I can understand they're trying to find work for them, but no. I don't like this at all. And now I can hope they finally move on from this Dean Ambrose Miz feud, because I hate to say it, but it's getting tired. It's getting played out, and it's beyond the point of go away. I mean, they need to move on to another feud for the Miz. So, yeah, I mean, I swear, if they extend this feud, I'm gonna pull the hair out of my head, and I'll go Phenom mode. And trust me, when I go Phenom mode, it's not gonna be a good thing. So, 2.25 stars. But please, WWE, move on from this feud before you really start to piss me off. I'm done. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. This is beyond the point of go away, go home. Uh, um, you know, I don't mind them having the factions and stuff. You know, I mean, that's kind of fun to watch. But when they start pulling stuff like they did tonight, you know, you pretty much, you kind of get tired of it because, you know, it doesn't look good for the Miz as a title holder. You know, we've brought this up before with Charlotte and with several other superstars that, you know, you start doing these cheap wins, it makes you cheap. It cheapens your title reign and stuff. And, you know, I thought we were trying to move past this crap, and here we are. We're just, you know, going to the next level with it. And, you know, not only tarnishing Miz here, but we're tarnishing the title as well, because he can't pull off a legitimate win without having either Maurice out there or his now entourage that he calls the Miztourage. And, you know, it's, like I said, it cheapens him, it cheapens the title. This feud, definitely done with it. Let's, you know, move on. Let's try to find something better, maybe somebody who can actually improve this title instead of the Miz, because, like I said, he's cheapening it. So, not much more I have to say.
He's making the title look like a freaking joke.
Exactly. Not much more I had to say. So, Florio, it's yours.
And don't make Florio have to pull up that thing about the Intercontinental title again.
What, you mean that photo of all the old school title belts, Bullet?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do that.
And it's a damn shame they continue to do this to the Intercontinental title.
Well, here's the thing.
You're probably another one of the most prestigious titles in WWE history, and you're making it look like a freaking joke. Well, years ago that title was prestigious, but now, to me, I'm going to agree with what you once said, Florio. It doesn't mean a damn thing.
Well, yeah, in a sense, but let me just say it like this. When The Miz was Intercontinental Champion last year, he was getting high praises. I mean, they actually were loving his body of work.
But that was then.
Especially when he went to SmackDown Live and had that awesome feud with Dolph Ziggler, including that damn near 5-star classic at last year's No Mercy. I mean...
Yeah, but that was then, Florio. This is now we're talking about.
Yeah. But like Bullock said, once upon a time. And then when you had Miz and Ambrose feuding, you know, towards the end of last year, or, you know, first show of this year on SmackDown Live, that was good stuff. But this time around, no. It's absolutely terrible. And I'm going to give it about 2.5 stars for my rating. It was very average. There was no real heat, no fire, dodgy Ambrose selling, and the interference finish. It felt more like a top-of-the-hour Raw match. They really need to move on from each other because both of these guys desperately need fresh opponents. And what else is there to say except the crowd was flat for the majority of the match. and I think it's because they weren't given much to cheer about finish wise, or because this feud has been completely overexposed. I want to say it's the end, but I got a bad feeling that this finish is going to have to set up the need for yet another rematch. And worse yet, there's a possibility that the Miz Taraj. I'm praying and hoping that the Miz Taraj is not going to be the 3-man unit that could lead to that possible rumored reuniting. The Shield deserve better than that. If they're going to put them back together. So
if that is the case, I'm freaking going off big time.
All right. Well, let's get that negativity out of here and let's move on to the positive stuff. And believe me, this is where we're going to really start to have some fun here. We're going to go downhill, but this time it's in a good way. It's ambulance match time. The first half of the big double main event here at Great Balls of Fire. It was the big dog, the man who says it's his yard now, Roman Reigns, going up against a personal favorite of myself and Michael Bullock, the monster among men, Braun Strowman. Roar! Yes, Lord. And the winner of the match in 16 minutes and 35 seconds, Roar! The monster among men. He did it. Braun Strowman. But after the match, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bullock, you're going to lead it off. But before I do, let me just set the scene here. Roman was going for a spear. He was obviously going to try to go for a spear that would send Strowman into the ambulance. Strowman gets out of the way. Roman basically catapults himself into the ambulance. Strowman shuts the doors and does the 2-hand slap on the back door to win the match. But then after the match, as the ambulance was about to drive away, Roman Reigns comes out of it, attacks Braun Strowman. He gets Strowman into the ambulance. And then, oh boy, Roman Reigns basically lost it here. He literally throws the driver of the ambulance out. He commandeers the wheel. Oh boy, last thing you want is a pissed off, angry Samoan behind the wheel. Good grief. And why do I say that? Well, he basically commandeers the ambulance. Strowman's in the back of it. And like a complete lunatic, backs the ambulance up and crashes it with Braun Strowman inside.
Basically, he took him on the highway to hell.
Amen to that. He certainly did. He took Braun Strowman on the highway to hell, indeed. And General Manager Kurt Angle, Jamie Noble, and the EMTs. It was so bad they literally had to use the jaws of life to get him out of there. And Braun Strowman, you talk about a bloody night. You talk about Matt Hardy getting bloodied up and Alexa Bliss getting bloodied up. Braun Strowman got bloodied up. And if Mimi Jean Okerlund was still around, it would have been a field day for the infamous "That's Not PG" Mimi, no doubt about it. Because Matt Hardy, Alexa Bliss, and Braun Strowman all busted open, that's not PG. No, indeed not. And they eventually get Strowman out, and Strowman, being the freak of nature that he is, even though he was wobbly and all dazed and whatnot, he ultimately walked off on his own power. And then they set up an impromptu match. I'll get into that nonsense in a minute. But nonetheless, Braun Strowman wins the ambulance match, 16 minutes and 35 seconds. Michael Bullock, how about it?
Oh my goodness. This was freaking crazy. I mean, I'll give it about 3.5 to 4 stars, maybe leaning more towards 4 stars, but man, this was just absolutely insane. I mean these two literally were all over the place. I mean, Braun Strowman looked like he was that indestructible, just that destructible monster that he is, the way he dominated Roman Reigns using the steel steps. And and all that, and literally fighting onto the stage there, and then Roman Reigns basically sends Braun Strowman through the LED lights on that stage. I mean, holy crap! I mean, that was freaking nuts there. But if you thought that was nuts enough, after the match was over, when Strowman shut the doors after Reigns launched himself in there, Reigns comes out, beats the crap out of him, and then puts him in the ambulance. He totally throws the ambulance driver out of the ambulance, and yeah, the last thing you need is a crazy Samoan, a crazy pissed off Samoan driving the ambulance. Well, that's what we got right here, and he backs up and crashes the ambulance into like, I think it was like a truck or something, but man, I mean, that looked really messed up. As soon as that happened, I'm like, oh my goodness. And basically, I mean, you could see the look on Kurt Angle's face and then they literally had to call the fire department and actually use the jaws of life to get Braun Strowman out of there. And they finally got him out of there, but he didn't want any medical attention. He wanted to freaking walk out on his own, despite him being all bloodied up. So I don't even know what this means, especially, could this mean the end of this feud? Could we get another match between them on a future episode of Raw? I really don't know, but all I can say is this was crazy. 3.5 to 4 stars. T. Woodson, what do you think about this?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars. I mean, it was a very good, very entertaining with these two trying to kill each other like they've been doing through the whole feud. They seem to have a great understanding between them and what they have to do and what they're willing to take. Where Braun takes the win, Reigns, pretty much kind of did what was expected and, fought back and, refusing to take the fall lightly. It's going to be interesting to see what comes next out of this. Watching all that backstage stuff, fire department coming in, doing the jaws of life, Angle panicking, Jamie Noble seeming to think that he could ultimately get Braun out when he's, one of the weakest guys out there. That was kind of a comical little moment there, watching Jamie, take a crowbar and try to pull in the door and all this stuff when you knew he wasn't going to be able to do it, not on his own. So not much more I had to say on it. So Florio, cheers.
Second best fight of the night here, no question about it. 3.5. I'm giving it a solid 3.5 stars. Oh man, the Reigns and Strowman madness was a blast. The ambulance match was entertaining, and the finish was protective of Roman Reigns. The post-match angle was over-the-top fun in the same way that Strowman's backstage attacks have been. Roman's character should face attempted murder charges. Instead, I assume Kurt Angle will most likely possibly take away the SummerSlam Universal title match that Reigns booked himself or gave himself a few weeks ago, which will set up that rumored Universal Championship match Reigns trying to kill Braun should allow Angle to refuse the SummerSlam title match Reigns booked himself in and booked Braun against the Universal Champion since Braun won the match. So, man, oh man alive. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, this was one of the main selling points of this show, and boy, howdy did it deliver. You want to talk about a be a man fight? This was a be a man fight and then some. 3.5 stars, second best fight of the night from my end. So, MF, your kind of match, MF. I'm sure this was something I know this was something you were very proud of. I mean, I know how much you love these knockdown, drag out, smash mouth, physical matches. And boy, howdy, man. These two just continue to be such a blast to watch.
And not only that, but they almost push the limits every single time. Everybody remembers back in the day, yeah, you had those type of fights that were good, solid, whatever. But then you had that one moment where it's really special, and this was a special fight. The ambulance match, probably the best one out of any of the other ambulance fights we've ever seen in WWE's history, even though it's a very limited amount of fights that we've had. This one is without a doubt the best one yet. Yes, I understand it, why Braun would win the fight. You know, you want to make Roman go nice, but like you said, he took him on the highway to hell. And once he did that, all bets are off on that, baby. That's when all runs amok in that house. And yeah, I think one thing is for sure, Kurt Angle, you gotta come down on Roman Reigns hard for this, because, you know, I remember when Braun did that to Roman a little while ago. I think, if I remember correctly, didn't Foley go hard on Braun Strowman? Like, he punished him big time for his actions. So, in turn, unless there's this cannot be a slap on the wrist. This cannot be a slap on the wrist. If it is, the WWE Universe is gonna go. WWE Universe, they're probably not gonna go bonkers. The IWC is going bonkers tonight. They're absolutely losing their minds right now, and they are furious at Roman Reigns. You want to talk about wanting the head on a silver platter? They want Roman Reigns arrested tonight. Arrested for attempted murder. They are fuming mad. I thought the John Cena proposing to Nikki Bella was bad at WrestleMania. Oh no! Or I thought the Roman Reigns beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania was nuclear heat. This thing took nuclear. It turned ugly really fast, really quick. The IWC is flipping out tonight. It's basically calling Roman Reigns every name in the book, and I can't even repeat half of them because it's a family show tonight. It's PG rated, so yeah, this was awesome. I loved it. Great fight. One of the fights of the night. Nothing more to say. Anthony, I guess it goes back to you, or does Bullock have to take it?
Oh. No, Bullock started it. So.
All right, so it's back to you, Florio.
So it's on to me. It's not often we get this on a pay-per-view, but we got it anyway. We had an impromptu match, a pointless and trifle unnecessary impromptu match. Kurt Hawkins versus Heath Slater. I guess Heath Slater won the match in about 2.5 minutes. No rating to a dud. I'm going to speak on behalf of all of us here. It was Buffer, which we didn't get to see as they tried to get Braun Strowman out of the ambulance, obviously. So we're not even going to dignify that. So with that being said, we're just going to move right on to the main event, the other half of the double main event. Oh boy, you thought we had we saw one be a man fight. How about this? How about this be a man fight for the WWE Universal Championship? Champion Brock Lesnar, his first title defense since winning the title from Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania, defending the title against #1 contender Samoa Joe. Joe became #1 contender by winning that near 5-star Extreme Rules 5-way at Extreme Rules. Winner of the match in between 6 minutes and 25 seconds to 6 minutes and 31 seconds. And still the WWE Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. He somehow found a way out of Samoa Joe's Coquina clutch. Hits an F5. 1, 2, 3. The champion stays the champion. Didi Woodson. I know it was a short match. I know it was only 6.5 minutes or so, but damn it to hell, what a 6.5 minutes we got.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest gripe about it is just the fact that it was short. But other than that, it was a really good match. Finish could have been better. Just basic, straightforward match. It allowed Joe to look not only smart and dangerous, but the believable guy at the top of the card because the build was so great. No one really gets to look that competitive against Brock Lesnar. I have a feeling they are going to revisit this match. We're going to probably have another match between the two. But I'm going to give it 3.25 stars for the match. Very good. A very good match. Just wish it was a little bit longer. Is all, but like I said, my only gripe for it. So I'll toss it back over to you.
This to me was the third best fight of the night here. I think Didi has it right here. Between 3 and 3.25 stars is my rating for this. I mean, I agree with Didi. It was, but this was almost a carbon copy of Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg back at WrestleMania. I mean, it was about a 6.5 minute or so match, but in that 6 to 6.5 minutes, it was fun and entertaining, and there was the element of Shakespearean drama in this. I mean, there was honestly a point where I actually thought they were actually gonna have the balls to put the belt on Joe. I honestly thought for a split second, a millisecond, that Samoa Joe was actually gonna win the Universal Championship. That would have been something. That would have really put this show over the top. But nonetheless, it was a brief yet suspenseful Shakespearean drama-laden main event. I honestly didn't care for Lesnar just throwing off the Coquina clutch and then hitting the F5, but it was still well done. And I honestly do believe Joe gained something during the build and even in the match. The key is now after this how creative follows up with him, because I've read a lot of dirt sheets, as I'm sure you guys have, saying that WWE management is very high on Samoa Joe, especially during this angle. That there is a rumor saying that this may not be a one and done. But if it was a one and done, boy howdy, what a way to go. And as of now, it's looking, the rumor going around right now is that it will be Brock Lesnar. His next Universal title challenger very likely will be, unless they decide to completely pull the rug out from under us, the monster among men, Braun Strowman, should be the Beast Incarnate's challenger for SummerSlam in 6 weeks. So that's all I can say there. So I know it was only a 6.5 minute or so match, but in that, like I said, in that 6.5 minutes, man, just like what we saw with Lesnar and Goldberg at WrestleMania. Short match, but boy howdy, in that short amount of time, it felt like a Flair Steamboat 5-star classic, honestly, even though this was nothing like that at all. Maybe it wasn't quite the greatest Be a Man fight of all time, but it was definitely ranked up there. So that's all I can say there. So let's see what happens. Let's see what creative has in store for these guys, or I should say for Joe going forward. So 3 to 3.25 stars, third best fight of the night. MF, it looked like for a moment a split second that Samoa Joe was actually going to pull this thing out. He was actually going to win the Universal Championship, but no big surprise. Beast Incarnate finds a way to get it done. Gets out of the Kokita clutch, not easy to do. Hits the F5, and champion stays the champion.
Yes, indeed, and an unbelievable way to. I mean, unbelievable night, unbelievable way to close the show. But give where credit's due to Brock Lesnar, man. I mean, that's the heart of a champion. When you had the perseverance, you have to have the heart, the guts. You do all and come out the big winner. That is in the main event. This was a very good match. Yes, I was about to dump this, to do a downgrade and actually give it less than that, but you guys kind of gave me the solid fuel, even though I thought it was kind of boring. Because it was kind of repetitive, because this almost felt like a UFC fight. It's basically he finished them in the second round. That's all it was. So it was a good match, but I'll give the effort, I'll give the love and the credit because of how great the match was. But other than that, nothing more to say. So Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it to me, I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. I mean, because, like you said, I mean, the match was short, but in the amount of time that we got, I mean, we had some crazy action going down in the match here. And, yeah, I mean, there were times it looked like Samoa Joe was going to do the impossible and slay the beast, but Brock Lesnar once again rises to the occasion and beats Samoa Joe and is still the Universal Champion. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So, 3.25 stars. So, Florio, let's move on to overall thoughts on this Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view.
And I believe I started off, and I will start it off here. 7 to 7.5 out of 10 for me. Very good show. I mean, I'm very proud of the effort tonight. Raw's, for the longest time has been a dumpster fire. I mean, especially after that god-awful back on June 12th, which we agreed was the worst show of the year, which was full of cutouts galore. We only had one real cutout here on this show, but other than that, WWE Great Balls of Fire was an overall good show with good wrestling and an overall fun vibe to it. And it was definitely enjoyable. And I definitely had a great time watching it on the WWE Network. This was a fun show with the crazy Reigns and Strowman ambulance match and angle after. And a main event that was able to get the crowd reinvested despite the madness they had just sat through before. So if I had to rank it, fight of the night, the Iron Man tag team match, 4.25 stars. Second best fight of the night, the ambulance match, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, 3.5 stars. Rounding out the top three, I would say Lesnar and Joe, 3 to 3.25. And then let the others fall where they may. Worst fight of the night, obviously Slater and Hawkins. But aside from Slater and Hawkins, it was Enzo and Cass. So, but other than that, I mean, those were the only real low points. Enzo and Cass and Slater and Hawkins. But other than that, everything else was solid to good to great. And like I said at the top of the show, you saw me in my Monday Night Raw T-shirt that I bought on WWEshop.com. A couple of months or so ago. Proud to wear it. I mean, I made it. I'm going to make it a mission that when we have Monday Night Raw exclusive pay-per-views, and maybe even the Survivor Series, if they decide to do the Raw versus SmackDown Live stuff again, which I hope they do, because that was hella fun last year. I'll not only have the Raw T-shirt, but I'm hopeful that MF will eventually pony up and get himself a SmackDown Live T-shirt, and then we can really have some fun with that. Really take our Raw and SmackDown Live rivalry to a new level. So like I said, you saw me in my Raw shirt, and after the effort I saw tonight, I was damn proud to wear it. So to the men and women of Monday Night Raw, well done. You delivered. You hit it out tonight. SmackDown Live, you're on notice. You gotta try to top that in 2 weeks with Battleground in Philadelphia, or as MF likes to call it, the Illadelphs. So that's all I can say there. 7.5 out of 10. So what do you say to that, Mr. SmackDown Live? Take notes. That's how you put on a pay-per-view.
So wait a minute. Wait. You got one good solid pay-per-view, and now you're daring SmackDown Live to counter after all of the success we've had? Are you bleeping kidding me right now? Okay. I'll give it a 7 to 7.5. I'll give you that. And for once, yes, I was pleasantly surprised because the Great Balls of Fire, a crappy name for a pay-per-view. I was gonna say something else, but I held my tongue. But it was actually a good show. I'm not gonna deny it. I liked it. It was very entertaining. I was thoroughly entertained by Monday Night Raw. Good job. You did it for one night. You impressed me. Of course SmackDown Live is going to be ready. We're in Philadelphia, the IWC capital, home of ECW. You think for 1 second that SmackDown Live is not going to have some kind of response for this? I mean, Punjab prison fight for the WWE Championship. On top of that, maybe Michael Canales making his in-ring debut against Sami Zayn, rumored. And then there's a little IWC darling who just became the new United States heavyweight champion. So, but we'll talk about that on Tuesday on Cerebral Smack Talk because I got a lot to cover on that front. And then we got a possible rematch for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And if you didn't see the rap battle on the 4th of July, then you guys are a bunch of morons for missing it because that was the most unbelievable segment. It's SmackDown Live segment of the year in my eyes. And as a matter of fact, maybe the WWE's segment of the year in 2017, the rap battle between the Usos and the New Day. Because let me tell you, man, that was not PG either. They went for it. They went for the jugular, and they nailed it. It was a home run and a half. So don't worry, Florio. SmackDown Live is ready and willing to snatch that mantle back from Monday Night Raw and basically tell you who the real A show is. Don't forget that. You had one lucky night. Sometimes a squirrel finds a nut once in a blue moon. Tonight you found your nut. Congratulations. Build off it. Keep it going. Because week after week after week, SmackDown Live has been doing it. And we've been doing it well. Nothing more to say. 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Michael Bullock, what says you?
Wow, I don't know how the heck I'm going to follow that, but I don't think I could even follow it, and I'm not even going to attempt to. But yeah, 7 to 7.5 out of 10 is my rating for this Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, and yeah, I mean, with the exception of the two matches that were duds, I mean, all the other matches, like you said, were good to solid to spectacular. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I give it a solid 7 stars. It was, um, it was a fun pay-per-view to watch, but you had pretty much all the bad guys winning, and you had the two duds, and um, even though the main event was short, it was still really good though, because there was a lot of back and forth and whatnot. I and I do agree with Fletch on be putting on notice, because there has been a lot of uh, not so great Raws we've had lately, and I'm back and forth on whether or not I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, just because we have had a lot of lackluster shows, and uh, a lot of poorly built storyline shows and everything. And here we are, we're coming off of a pay-per-view, and hopefully they're going to actually be able to come out with some good stuff tomorrow night. But I'm not holding my breath, so not much more I had to say on it, so I toss it back to you.
All right, and that's going to put the bow on this special edition of Ridiculously Raw, as we just recapped the WWE Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view event. I mean, wow. The next time we'll see the superstars of Monday Night Raw on pay-per-view will be at the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam, in 6 weeks. And what am I expecting on that right now as far as the Raw side goes? It's looking like Brock Lesnar against Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. I can definitely see that. Of course, if you didn't see Derek Ferrera's video earlier, a possible rumored match between the two most hated men in the IWC, Roman Reigns and John Cena. Whoa, my, if that happens. And I don't know what else. Maybe we'll get Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks again for the Women's Championship. I'm sure The Miz will defend the Intercontinental Championship. With our luck, it's probably going to be against Dean Ambrose, but if they really want to give us something to cheer for, if they really want to give us an Intercontinental feud that actually means something, I'd rather see The Miz defend it against the Demon King, Finn Balor. That's what I'd like. That's what I want to see. I want to see Finn Balor get a shot at that thing. That would be really good. And something with the Raw Tag Team Championship with Sheamus and Cesaro, perhaps. And maybe a cruiserweight match with Neville, maybe against Akira Tozawa, maybe another challenger. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's pretty much what I can surmise for Team Red as of right now, as far as SummerSlam is concerned. And of course, the next Raw exclusive pay-per-view will not be until Sunday night, September the 24th, when the superstars of Monday Night Raw invade the Staples Center in Los Angeles, as Raw actually gets no mercy this time around and not SmackDown Live. So that's going to be very interesting. And Brock Lesnar, according to Derek's video, is supposed to be on that show. So that'll make it even more doubly interesting, Universal Champion or not. So, all right, that will put the bow on this special edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, tomorrow night we'll be back at it again with Ridiculously Raw. We will sort out all the fallout from Great Balls of Fire as we review that Monday Night Raw, as we start the Raw Brands road to SummerSlam, which should be hella interesting, and I know it will be. That will be at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, hometown of Booker T. So I expect a hometown pop for the Book Man, no doubt about it. Let me see, and in a special Tony's take, for those of you who may not know, I will give you, I'll give you my thoughts on what went down at Slammiversary. It's not a review. I'm just gonna, give you the results and give you my thoughts as far as what went down. Of course, I'll also do last week's installment of 205 Live and Impact Wrestling, and then Tuesday night, either at 10 or 10:30, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. We'll review SmackDown Live. I know we're going to address the AJ Styles situation, obviously. and a whole lot more as we start their road to Battleground. And MF, I know, will have his Mikey's Mindset, Lucha Underground, some other things, maybe some ROH, maybe some RWA, and some other things that he might want to share. We'll see. And then Friday night, Strictly Sports. Myself, MF, and Michael Bullock will have that. Hopefully, MF will be able to join us this time. And I don't know what's on the docket, but I know Derek will have it out sometime this week. And that's it. So until tomorrow night for Ridiculously Raw, it's the Ridiculously Over gentleman Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and for the first lady of the Wrestling Forum and the Twisted Angel DD Woodson. And in spirit, of course, the man himself, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Monday. And until tomorrow night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching this very special edition of Ridiculously Raw, our WWE Great Balls of Fire 2017 recap, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.